Oftentimes, we'll have to differentiate the product of functions which are themselves sum or differences. We'll have to put the product rule together with the sum or difference rules. When doing this, we oftentimes do the derivative in two steps. First, we write out the form of the derivative using the product rule, and then we look into each piece and we take the derivative of each piece using the sum and difference rules. So in example 2 here, we want to take the derivative of f of v, which is v to the 6 minus 2e to the v, times ln v plus 1 over v squared. So when we take its derivative, first we're going to use the product rule. We're going to take the derivative of v to the 6 minus 2e to the v, times ln v plus, now 1 over v squared, we're going to write as v to the minus 2, plus, then we're going to do the derivative of the second function is ln v plus v to the minus 2. We're going to multiply by the first function, v to the 6 minus 2e to the v. The derivative of v to the 6 minus 2e to the v, we'll have to do that with the difference in constant multiple rules. We're going to take the derivative of v to the 6, we're going to subtract 2 times the derivative of v to the v. Then we've got to multiply that whole thing by ln v plus v to the minus 2. Then here, we're going to have to take the derivative of ln v and the derivative of v to the minus 2 separately using the sum rule, and then multiply that whole thing by v to the 6 minus 2e to the v. So the derivative of v to the 6 is 6v to the 5th. The derivative of e to the v is just e to the v, so the derivative of this first thing is 6v to the 5th minus 2e to the v. We're multiplying that by ln v plus v to the minus 2. The derivative of ln v is 1 over v. The derivative of v to the minus 2 is negative 2v to the minus 3. That whole thing is being multiplied by v to the 6 minus 2e to the v. So here is the derivative. Example 3, rather than having a product of things which are each a sum or difference, here we have a difference of functions each of which is a product. So here we're going to have to use the difference rule first. So we're going to say that y prime is going to be the derivative of this first thing, 3e to the x cos x, minus the derivative of the second thing, tan x tan h of x. Then we've got to do the derivative of this first thing. We can use the product rule for that. We're going to take the derivative of 3e to the x, multiply it by cos x, and add the derivative of cos x times 3e to the x. Then we're going to subtract. For the second one, we're going to have to do the derivative of tan x times tan h of x plus the derivative of tan h of x times tan x. So, continuing on, the derivative of 3e to the x is just going to be 3e to the x. Cos x is just cos x. The derivative of cos x is minus sin x. That's being multiplied by 3e to the x. Minus the derivative of tan x is secant squared of x. That's being multiplied by tan h of x. The derivative of tan h of x is secant h squared of x, and that's being multiplied by tan x.